Hello and welcome to SK Shadow. Welcome back to another episode of our F1 22 My Team Career Mode, and this time we are at Spain. So that's going to be interesting. Obviously the track is slightly different this year, so we'll be able to see that. As you see, we put on loads of upgrades, like a major engine power one there. I think we had a chassis one there, but we've got two that have failed, so that is certainly not going to help. We cannot afford too many upgrade failures, because obviously we have to use more resource points when they fail, and then we don't get the upgrades in the first place, and then another one fails. The wing mirrors for the drag reduction, but we don't actually have enough resource points to do that again, which is annoying. As you see, again, 2 drag reductions and a gearbox durability failed. At least the weather is clear, so we haven't got that to worry about, which is good. In terms of performance, you can see we're pretty much still in the mix. Haas is slightly faster than us, but not too bad. Since our DNF, I mean, we've been in the points, that's showing, in every race apart from Jeddah, where we obviously DNF, so that is what we're going to be aiming for. We're only 10 points behind Alpine in the constructors, so if we can try and make a dent in their performance, that would be fantastic. I think we're using just a default setup for this race, because I did go into time trial and try some of the top ones, but yes, they are a couple of tenths faster, but they're also really difficult to control, especially through the first sector. The car goes everywhere, but we crossed the line with a 118.838, which is just shy of our teammate who did an 825, and apparently faster than Max Verstappen, so I don't know if he had an issue in like the second or third sector there, but yeah, not too bad for a first run. And then our second run, we are about 2.5 tenths up, but pretty much lose a lot of that time in the final corner and come across the line about 1.5 tenths faster. Is that going to be enough? Just enough. We're in P15. Our teammate manages a 117.6 somehow, almost a second faster than his first time, and that puts us in P15. 118.3. I pretty much just skipped Q2 here because there's not much to tell you other than we did almost exactly the same time and ended P15 again, which means we're out of Q2. And so is Button. So pretty terrible performance for our team. Somehow Norris and Tsunoda have got 5-place grid penalties, so that will help us, but we'll have to do some work to carry on our points finishing record.
The Spanish Grand Prix has been a permanent fixture of the Formula One calendar for over 30 years now, and for good reason. Do you remember Michael Schumacher's absolute dominance here in that rain-soaked Grand Prix in 1996? That day, he took his first ever victory for Ferrari, and we've had many more iconic moments since. The circuit of Barcelona-Catalunya, a track that will certainly force the drivers to push themselves. It also consists of a very impressive main straight going into Turn 1. It's a straight that also offers a DRS zone, so it's likely to be a hotspot for overtakes. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, and the smooth operator Carlos Sainz completes the front row. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Verstappen, Hamilton, Sergio Perez and Mick Schumacher, Bottas, Fernando Alonso, Button and Pierre Gasly, Ocon, Russell, they've taken a grid penalty, Lando Norris, Paul, Joe, Vettel, Daniel Ricciardo and Kevin Magnussen, Tsunoda, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty, Stroll, Albon and Nicholas Latifi. And now it's time to head down to the track.
So because of those penalties, we are in 14th, so we gain 1 position, and our teammate is actually 9th, so from that position he might be able to get us some points, which is quite nice. It says a personalised strategy we could do is softs to mediums. I think in the end I do choose it, but I'm not sure whether we'll stick with that. We'll have to see what the wear's like, but we are the only ones on softs out of, well, I'm sure there's a couple more maybe, but at least out of the guys around us, we're the only ones on softs, so hopefully that means we can get a slightly better launch. We will see. We've got the purple formation lap, so we should be okay. There we get a little bit of wheel spin. The Alfa Romeo of Guanyu tries to come up our inside. We've got Ricciardo and Vettel battling behind us as well, so they're going to be trying to get into some of this action. Almost hit Lando Norris by the looks of it there, but it looks like we have managed to stay ahead of Lando Norris, who also Guanyu ended up all the way at the back there, so I'm not sure what happened to him. We're side by side with Peter Gasly to try and make up another place, and we do manage it, so we have moved up into P12. You can see on the timing board there that our teammate Jenson Button has managed to get past the other Alfa Romeo of Valtteri Bottas, so he's into P8. So as long as he can keep that, maybe we'll get some points for our team. We've only got to gain another 2 positions. We send it down the inside of Ocon and also the inside of Russell there, but he gives us absolutely no room. Hopefully we didn't get any damage from that little bit of contact there. We think about sending it, but given how Russell treated us earlier, we think again. But overall, from the first lap, we've gained 3 positions up into P11, although we're P10 here, so I'm not sure. I'm guessing someone got some damage, as it looks like, was that Russell fighting with Bottas, and Bottas just goes straight on. Clearly didn't back out for whatever reason, so that moves us up into P9, and we can actually see our teammate in P7, so we've done a fantastic job there. There we go. George Russell goes down the inside of Valtteri Bottas, and just has a massive lock-up, and that sends him to the back, ends up side by side of Esteban Ocon there, and also loses out there, so he ends up completely out of the points positions, as Mick Schumacher is up into P4. That Haas is quick at the moment, it's crazy. Fighting with Sergio Perez side by side. Who is going to back out on this one? On paper the Red Bull obviously is faster, but we do know that the Ferrari engine is definitely the quicker one in a straight line, as Sergio is going to have the inside line going into this corner. Is it going to be enough? No, still not. Mick Schumacher is not giving up this very easily, but eventually he had to back out, and that is Sergio Perez up into P4. But Mick Schumacher, if he keeps this up, is going to be getting a nice healthy serving of points for that Haas team. So that is going to help them, as we are in P9. We've got Ocon behind us. He's definitely within DRS, as we are definitely losing time to the guys ahead in the straights, but then they're really slow in the corners. I don't know why. I don't know if either Perez or Schumacher got damage in their fighting there, as Ocon tries to send it down the outside, but that is never going to work in a corner like that. We saw what happened to Bottas when he tried to stay on the outside. He just ended up with a massive lock-up, as this is a replay, and as you see, it's just not going to happen. We wash him wide a little bit, and we keep the position. Actually send him into Bottas a little bit. All the while we're fighting, it looks like our teammate's doing a pretty good job at keeping the much faster Mercedes behind him. So he's sticking it in P7. It also looks like he's gone for a similar strategy to us, because he's on the softs as well. So, I mean, I assume he's going to be going on to hards, but that's probably why he's got a little bit more pace compared to everyone else. Ocon and Bottas behind us are pretty close to each other. There we go. Bottas pulls over to the inside. We see a replay there of that happening. He's got the DRS, so they both got the DRS obviously, but once again, like I say, the Ferrari power unit inside that Alfa Romeo is going to be faster than the Renault. That's just a given, and Bottas makes the move look very, very easy, as he lines up a move on us as well. We move over to the inside, taking the defensive line. We're using a fair bit of ERS there, and it looks like it's just going to be enough to stay ahead, as Ocon goes for a massive dive bomb and actually gets back past Bottas. So proving to be a pretty decent scrap between us three. Although, I mean, if you look at the mini-map, it's not so much us three, is it? As Ocon sends it down the inside once again. We are pretty much a train. We're nowhere near Russell anymore. 5 seconds up the road he is, and we are carrying quite a few cars behind us. So clearly we don't have the pace. I mean, that was shown in quali, that we just don't have the pure pace, and I don't know why. It's the same difficulty level as the other races. So I don't know if the AI just good in Spain or we were just bad, but yeah, anyway, it's telling us we should come into the box, and it does say mediums, so we might be trying to gamble on that. But given the lack of pace we've had on the softs, I don't think it would be worth it to gamble onto mediums, because they would be so slow by the end of it, as our teammates into the pits as well. Are we going to double stack here? It looks like we are. I mean, he was far ahead enough for it to not really be an issue. He's like 5-6 seconds up the road, so I doubt there's going to be any issue double stacking. We did eventually decide to change it to the hards. I decided it is not worth attempting the risky strategy of going on to mediums, because even if we were quicker initially, by the end of it we would just literally be a sitting duck, so it wouldn't be worth it. Looks like we've come into some pretty decent clean air. We've got pretty much no one ahead of us. We've got a McLaren of Ricciardo a little bit in the distance, although a little bit later on the lap, he is not in the distance. He is right behind us. We have to go pretty defensive there to make sure he doesn't get ahead of us. That's just showing you how bad the warm-up phase is. I mean, we're literally weaving on the straight, trying to put temperature in the tyres while defending against Ricciardo as he sends it down the inside. And that is the McLaren ahead of us, which isn't going to help our goal for points in this race. We've got Verstappen behind us for some reason. I'm guessing, as he almost stacks it himself, I'm guessing he was the car at the beginning that must have gone into the pits with damage, which promoted us into the points as he pulls out into the inside. And yeah, we're not going to fight that too hard, because what is the point? We'll only end up slowing ourselves down as Verstappen and Ricciardo are fighting ahead of us as well. Looks like they actually make a little bit of contact there as Ricciardo ends up all squirrely and we end up squirrely in sympathy behind. We've got Bottas about 3 seconds behind us in P20. We're still in P19, but bear in mind we came in quite a bit earlier than everyone else. So we won't actually know until a little while whether we are going to be anywhere near the points as we send it down the inside of Daniel Ricciardo, try and get that position back. And it's actually easier than I expected it to be. He didn't fight that too hard. And on to lap 14 here, it looks like a couple of other guys have gone into the pits, so we should gain a couple of positions there. That'll move us up into, what, 16th, I think? Oh no, the AlphaTauri of Gasly is way ahead of us, and we only just about get ahead of Albon. So, yeah, I think that early pit stop really wasn't a good idea. We probably should have just done mediums to hards, or even hards to mediums. Us pitting early just ended up, I mean, as you saw, we were a train to everyone. But anyway, lap 16, we're in P14. We've actually caught up to Gasly and Norris ahead of us. And we've pulled a decent gap to the guys behind us. The Haas of Magnussen, 3.5 seconds. And then the Alfa Romeo, 4 seconds. We just about managed to pick up the DRS with Gasly. But the AI in this game, their straight line speed is just so crazy. Hopefully a patch comes out for that soon. It would be nice. It certainly does make the races a little bit annoying when, you know, you've got DRS and DRS and they're still able to pull away ahead of you. It just doesn't make any sense, but once they patch that, that'll be a lot nicer. But we've got Ocon. I mean, he's managed to gain, what, 3 positions? Because he was behind us. Oh, I don't even know if these other guys were behind us, to be honest, but yeah, lap 13, I think pretty much, no, not lap 13, P13. Lap 20, I think everyone has come in now. So, yeah, we've lost a lot of positions. We were, what, P8, P9 before we pitted, and we're now into P13. So, I think our goal of points might be a little bit more difficult. As crossing the line here for lap 21, we find out that Carlos Sainz is out of this session. I think, when I looked at this map, he must have been in second place. So, in terms of championship, that is not going to help, because I think the fight at the moment is between Leclerc, Sainz and George Russell of all people. So that is definitely going to give Leclerc a bit of an advantage there, because I think he's in first. So 25 or 26 points. We're just showing here that literally for the next however many laps, it's just the same. We're just in P12, pulling away from Magnussen and Bottas, but not getting anywhere near Gasly or Norris to try and fight those guys. Because I think if we were to get past Gasly and Norris, we would be in the points, but that is a big ask with less than 10 laps to go and just a massive DRS train, so I don't think that is going to be happening. As this certainly isn't going to help, where we come out of this corner here and take a fair bit of the grass, which we do not want to be doing. Onto lap 32 here, the penultimate lap of the race. We are watching Kevin Magnussen and Valtteri Bottas having a bit of a fight here. Bottas is wanting to show that the Alfa Romeo is faster than the Haas, because they're not fighting for points here, but you know, they're still racers, they're going to fight for the positions, as Daniel Ricciardo's trying to send it down the inside of the Haas as well. So if he manages that, this is not going to be a good day for the Haas of Magnussen. They are still side by side, neither of them are backing out. One of them has got to back out into this corner here though, otherwise there will be carnage, and unfortunately it is Magnussen. So Magnussen manages to lose 2 positions on the second to last lap, which is not ideal for him, but we bring it home on lap 33 in P12 as looks like Charles Leclerc manages to win the race. So no points for us, unfortunately. We were running into points, but yeah, the hards were just too slow for us. Overall, our pace just wasn't great.
Natalie Pinkham, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
I'd say it was down once again to good, consistent driving, nailing the corners, working to the track conditions and perfecting the team strategies. They got all those things right today and the results speak for themselves.
And here we are, a team that is no stranger to the podium, taking their place on top once again. A sublime race today and a stunning win for Ferrari.
So the final leaderboard here, you see Leclerc wins the race, Hamilton and Perez on the podium. Russell puts himself into 4th, so he did eventually get past our teammate, but our teammate gets 5th place, so he brings home 10 points for our team, which is very, very nice. And you can see Max Verstappen in P6 was only, 4 tenths behind him crossing the line, so I think one more lap and our teammate may have been down into P6, but yeah, there's us in P12. No points for us. I mean, you can see in the pace, our best time was a 121.4 and our teammates was a 120. So we were definitely way off the pace. In terms of drivers, our teammate obviously got himself 10 points, so he's now up to 26 with us in 31. Has that done much with our fight with Alpine? 57, 65. I think we've gained a little bit, but still obviously haven't gone ahead of them. But other than that, thank you very much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, all that fantastic action. Make sure to hit the bell so then you are notified of our next episode, where we will be going to Monaco, which should be interesting because historically not a very good track for me, and I imagine it's not a very good track for most people. So we'll have to see if we can try and get some points for ourselves in Monaco.